So now that you have put your tables into your lab report, the next thing you're going to have to do is to create two graphs, a graph for your hot water beaker and a graph for your cold water beaker. You can take your data directly from your table, and the program that you're going to use to create a graph is called OpenOffice Calc, C-A-L-C. It's found on your Start menu, same place you found your Writer program, and you click on OpenOffice and you open the Calc program. This is what Calc looks like. It's the free version of Microsoft Excel. Both of them are spreadsheets. And in order to create a graph, the first thing that we're going to need to do here, it's a little different for using Calc. I'm going to hit Enter. And the reason I'm going to hit Enter is because I want to start typing in box A2. And here's where I'm going to put my time measurements. Because I measured every 2 minutes when I collected my data, I have to put this information in here, otherwise the graph will default to show me every single minute, and that's not how we measured. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to type 2, hit Enter, 4, Enter, 6, 8, 10, 12, and in my case I only measured up to 14 minutes in my data. And I can see that. I'm going to switch back to my program here. You can see that I only timed it for 14 minutes for my hot water bag. Some of you may have timed for quite a bit longer. However many time intervals that you need, go ahead and put them into your Calc program. Now I'm going to go up and I'm going to click in B1. And in here I'm going to type water bag. And in C1, I'm going to type syrup bag. And now what I can do is I can go back to my table, and all of this is going to be for the hot water graph, the hot water beaker graph. So what I can do is I can go to my table under water bag, and I can highlight all of the temperatures. I'm going to right click and copy. And now that I think of it, I forgot to put a 0 here. So I'm going to insert a row so that I can now put a measurement for 0, because I forgot that I did take the original starting temperature. So when you do yours, just make sure that you put in 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 all the way up to 14, or however long you measured for. Okay, so now going back, we copied, we highlighted, right click, copy the whole list. We're going to come back here into B2, right click, and paste. And all that did was prevented us from having to retype all of our data back into another table. For the syrup bag, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go back to my chart, highlight everything for the temperature of the syrup bag, right click, copy, and under syrup bag I'm going to right click and paste. So here's all of our data that we need in order to create the graph. Remember, this is just the graph for the hot water bag. We'll have to make a second one for the cold water bag. So what we want to do now is put our mouse in A1 and click, and then hold down your mouse key and highlight the entire list of data. Now we're going to go up to the top, click on Insert, and go all the way down till you see Chart, and click on Chart. Now by default it's going to make a bar graph of this. That's not what we want. So in the new window that opens, the first thing we're going to do is come down here and we're going to click on Line. We want to make a line graph, and it's a double line graph. And I want to choose lines only. I don't want any dots on the screen. So I'm going to choose lines only. And now, do you see that it made a line here at the bottom? That line's going to disappear when we go on to the next choice. So once you have that selected, you've chosen line graph and you've chosen the lines only graph, click Next in this box. Now to get rid of this line, this blue line down here, what that did is it graphed my time. and I don't want it to graph time. I want to use time as a label. So in addition to what's already checked in this box, I also want to put a check mark in first column as label. And do you see what it did? It relabeled my bottom axis with my times and got rid of that line. Now we're going to click Next. For this one, you don't need to change anything here. It's already set up for us. So we're going to click Next, and now we can label everything. The title of this graph, remember, this is for the hot water beaker. So I'm going to type hot water beaker as the title of my graph. I don't need a subtitle. I'm going to leave that one blank. My x-axis is the numbers going across the bottom of the graph, and that's our time. And that was measured in minutes. So I'm going to put time in minutes. And my y-axis is my temperature. And that was in Celsius. And now once you've done that, your graph is complete, so you can hit Finish. Now what you can do is you can take your mouse and right-click inside the box and choose Copy. You're going to go back to your lab report, scroll down a bit, find a spot underneath your graph, right-click again, and hit Paste. And it should paste your graph right in here. And for some reason, it's not pasting. Well, now we know what we have to do. If yours doesn't work, if it works and you see your graph, you're good to go. You can move on. If not, then what we're going to do, I'm going to go back to this, and since my graph is here, I'm going to go to File, Save As, and I'm going to save this as hot water beaker graph. I'm going to also change the ODS to Microsoft Excel 97 2000 XP, and in parentheses it says .xls. Save it like that. That way I can be sure that I'm going to open it and I'll see your graph. Save the file, and it automatically will save to your documents. If you want to change where it saves, you can change that, and you can browse your folders and decide where you want to put it. I'm going to put mine on my desktop so that I don't forget. So then I'm going to click Save, keep the current format, and then I'm going to click New because I'm going to have to open a new document to make my other graph. So let's open a new spreadsheet. We're going to do the same thing for this one. We're going to fill out our times. We have 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and let's see how many more I need for my cold water graph. Okay, I only measured for 10 minutes on my cold water. So now I can take my temperature readings, copy, and I'm going to put water bag and syrup bag. Okay, paste my water bag information here. Go back and get my syrup bag. Copy that. Paste it in. Highlight the whole thing again. Insert chart. We want the line graph with the lines only. Click Next. Remember to click the box that says first column as label. Next again. Next again. Give it a title. This one's the cold water beaker. X-axis is going to be time in minutes. Y-axis is temperature in Celsius. Click Finish. You can move your graph down a little bit if you'd like, and this one we're going to go to File, Save As. I'm going to put it on my desktop again. This one's going to be cold water beaker graph. Again, I'm going to change it from the .ods. I'm going to change it to Microsoft Excel 97 2000 XP.xls and hit save. Keep the current format. And then I can close everything. Now, in your lab report, put a little note here for me that says graphs can be found in the attached documents. And when you complete your lab report, okay, so you're going to answer your conclude and apply questions. I think there's 2 questions, so you'll answer number 1 and number 2. And then you're going to save this file as well. So when you go to the Dropbox, you're going to have to put 3 files in the Dropbox. Your typed lab report, which is in OpenOffice Writer, your hot water beaker graph, and your cold water beaker graph. And those were saved in separate spots. So just make sure that you save everything in the same place so it's easy for you to find when you finish your lab. And then you're going to upload all 3 of the files to your Dropbox. If your graph worked when you pasted it to the bottom here, if it showed up, then you're good to go and you can just put it all in one file. It depends on how your computer works. Mine didn't work to copy and paste, so instead I just save the file and I'll attach it at the end. Alright, well that concludes our instructions for how to make a graph using OpenOffice Calc. If you have any questions about how to do this, please let me know, give me a call or send me an email. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.